I'm Blake Burns and I'm going to show the real Sunderland Football Club the way the fans see it. Sunderland AFC. The Black Cats. The heart of Wearside. Making history. Where football isn't just a game, it's a lifestyle. A passion. A religion. Pride. Living and breathing the game.
See that crack there beneath your feet? Before long it'll grow too deep. Where to ride on the tip of my tongue? I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Sunderland, Hartlepool, Newcastle, Middlesbrough. The North East is made of passionate fans. I've been a Sunderland fan since the age of 8. My dad supports Sunderland, my uncle supports Sunderland, even my sister supports Sunderland, and better still, the dog practically supports Sunderland.
Where I'm from, you've got to support your team, whether that's red and white or black and white.
Hopefully a 2-1 victory. I'm going for Sims to score the first goal and Ross Stewart to get the winner in the second half, and 3 points for the lads. Touch wood.
But for a Sunderland fan, it's never easy.
Danny was just awful. He spins around on a carousel. He's cost us against Rotherham, he's cost us against Bristol, he's cost us today, he cost us against Sheffield United.
We've lost too much control. We have no control over the ball. Too flustered.
But this season, the ups overtook the downs. The unthinkable became thinkable. In a season where Dan Neil reached 100 appearances, manager Alex Neil walked out for Stoke City, target man Ross Stewart got injured not once but twice, Manchester United loanee Amad Diallo set the place alight, Jack Clark found his form getting double figures in both goals and assists. The lads got a 6th place finish on the final day, meaning 2 games against Luton Town before a potential return to Wembley.
I spoke to Frankie Francis at the last home game of the season, where the lads were sat 1 point outside the playoffs.
I think the fans have undoubtedly had a massive part to play in how successful Sunderland have been this season. It's been a huge season. And I think even if we were to fall short, I think most fans would say it's been a great season. I mean, you could have given young player to any member of the squad, really, couldn't you? Because there were so many great performers this season. I think Danny Bartlow has been absolutely extraordinary. I think it's such a shame that his body broke down, with a couple of games remaining. But I think, he really showed his quality this season, and he's had loads of different people in that back line to work with, many young players, and he's coached them through the games. So I think that was well warranted. And young player, you could have picked many, you could have picked any from the most of the squads, because this is the youngest squad in English football by all accounts, certainly in the Championship. It's the youngest squad I think I've ever seen it from a Sunderland side in my time as a supporter, and I think it's very exciting because they can only get better.
I'm Sunderland till I die. I know I am, sure I am Sunderland till I die. Sunderland till I die. I'm Sunderland till I die. I know I am, sure I am Sunderland till I die.
With the season fast approaching, Sunderland started to get some deals done, with Leon Diaku's loan deal made permanent, Lyndon Gooch signed a 2-year extension, Anthony Patterson put pen to paper on a long-term contract, Patrick Roberts also signed a new deal to remain at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland then made their first signing of the summer, Northern Ireland international Dan Ballard from Arsenal. Bailey Wright became the third and final player to sign a 2-year contract option. Then 9 days into the month, Jack Clarke, who spent the second half of last season on loan with the lads, was signed permanently. The next signing was Adji Elise from West Ham. Many Mackems knew nothing about him, but with Hammers fans being annoyed at his departure, it seemed like a good move. 2 more signings were made before the opening game, with Ellis Sims on loan from Everton after Nathan Broadhead talks seemed to come to a halt, and backup goalkeeper Alex Bass from Portsmouth. July was a short month for the Black Cats, but a month that saw the opening game of the season against Coventry, which ended in a 1-1 draw, with Jack Clarke getting the lads' first goal of the season with a close-range header. August proved to be a month of establishment and to see how comfortable the lads would be in the league. A 3-2 win over Bristol City in Ellis Sims' dream debut was followed by a disappointing draw to QPR, where the lads led 2-0 and conceded twice after the 87th minute, with keeper Semi Dieng heading home the equaliser. A Dan Neil red card saw a battling 10-men side fall to a 2-1 defeat at Bramall Lane, but the lads bounced back with a 1-0 win over Stoke through Ross Stewart, which led to Alex Neil's departure, joining the Potters after Michael O'Neill's sacking. The lads lost 1-0 to Norwich and Alex Neil's assistant Martin Canning, but it wasn't for the want of trying. Tony Mowbray came in, former Blackburn manager, and 4 signings were brought out at half-time in his first game against Rotherham. Costa Rican international Jerison Bennett, Abdullah Bar, Edouard Michou on loan from PSG with the option to buy, and a player who turned out to be one of the best gems to ever feature in the Championship, Amad Diallo, on a season on loan from Manchester United. The announcement of these signings was followed by a 3-0 win against Rotherham, where Ross Stewart scored a brace and Jack Clarke assisted both of them goals. September contained 3 games which saw Ross Stewart being injured till December in the warm-up before the match against Middlesbrough, which ended in a 1-0 defeat. But this was followed by an emphatic 3-0 win over Reading, where Patrick Roberts brace and Jack Clarke finishing off a fantastic team goal, starting from Anthony Patterson, followed by a 2-2 draw against Watford, where Jerison Bennett scored his first goal for the club. October saw the lads take only 6 points out of a possible 21, with 0-0 draws to both Preston and Blackpool, defeats to Swansea, Blackburn and Burnley, and a 2-1 victory over Wigan Athletic, coming from 1-0 down as former player Charlie Wyke opened the scoring. Only 3 games in November ahead of the Qatar World Cup, and Sunderland got 2 wins, a 2-0 win at Huddersfield, and a 2-1 win over Birmingham where Ahmad showed his worth, and a 1-0 home defeat at Cardiff in a game that saw Anthony Patterson save a penalty in the first half. December started with a 3-0 win over Millwall, followed by a 2-1 defeat at West Brom as the season returned following the World Cup break. A trip to Hull saw Elliot Embleton's season end as he fractured his ankle and saw red in the process in a 1-1 draw. This was followed by back-to-back wins as Ellis Sims scored a 91st minute winner on Boxing Day against Blackburn before a 4-1 win against Wigan to end the year. The lads won 1 out of their 3 league games in January, but it was the most important one. A 2-0 win over rivals Middlesbrough in a month that also saw a 1-1 draw with relegation battlers Blackpool and a 3-1 defeat to Swansea City. January saw the arrival of 4 more faces, 2 more adding to the French Revolution, Isaac Lahadji and Pierre Ekwa. January also saw 15-year-old Chris Rigg feature within the squad, and ahead of deadline day Joe Gelhardt was brought in along with Joe Anderson, a young defender from Everton, as Bailey Wright, Jamie Tete and Leon Diaku all departed on loan until the end of the season. January was also a tough time for the lads in the injury department, with Ross Stewart being ruled out till the end of the season after picking up another knock, and captain Corey Evans also ruled out for the season after picking up an injury during the 2-0 win over Middlesbrough. February saw 2 wins coming against Reading and QPR, 2 draws against Millwall and Bristol City, and back-to-back defeats to end the month against Rotherham and Coventry. March didn't start how the Black Cats wanted, with 5-1 defeat Alex Neil's Stoke, where Alex Pritchard's goal was the only shining light. The lads bounced back with a 1-0 win at Carrow Road, thanks to Abdullah Barr. Some questionable officiating saw the lads fall to a 2-1 defeat against promotion hopefuls Sheffield United, followed by back-to-back draws against Luton Town and soon-to-be champions Burnley away at Turf Moor in a 0-0 draw. April saw a stunning Good Friday 4-4 draw against Hull, where the 3 points were seconds away from being sealed before a late penalty was awarded. A 1-0 win in Wales against Cardiff put the lads back in the playoff places. Amad Diallo once again showed his quality against Birmingham City in another 2-1 victory over the Brummies. A 1-1 draw with Neil Warnock's relegation battle in Huddersfield, followed by a fantastic 2-1 win over West Brom, which saw the lads move up to 6th in the league. And with Blackburn and West Brom failing to win, they would stay there ahead of a massive fixture against Watford. In a sold-out Stadium of Light, Sunderland came from 2-0 behind to draw 2-2 when Patrick Roberts struck in the 95th minute to keep Sunderland in the playoff race. Ahead of the final game of the campaign, Sunderland was sat on 66 points, one place outside of the top 6. Coventry was sat on 69 and had to face Middlesbrough, and if Coventry were beaten and Sunderland won, the lads would be able to catch them on goal difference. Millwall faced Blackburn, who were just about still in the fight but had to win. If Millwall dropped points and Sunderland were to win, Sunderland would reach the playoffs, unless West Brom scored 4 more goals than Sunderland do at Preston. Ultimately, Sunderland would miss out with anything but 3 points. At half-time, Sunderland sat outside the playoffs with Coventry drawn at the Riverside and Millwall 3-1 up against Blackburn, and the lads themselves haven't found their goal yet and were level at 0-0. Ahmad with another wonder goal put the lads in front. Alex Pritchard and Jack Clarke added to the scoreline, making it 3-0 to Sunderland, and during this, Ben Brereton and Diaz made a 3-3 at Millwall, before then finishing the game off in the 84th minute. Sunderland, who finished 5th in League One last year and secured promotion via the playoffs, had claimed 6th place in their first year back in the Championship and would face Luton Town, hoping to book a place in the capital. A 2-1 win at the Sol thanks to another Ahmad wonder goal and Trey Hume header gave the lads a slight advantage going to Kenilworth Road, but it wasn't to be. Luton then went on to beat Coventry on penalties at Wembley to gain promotion to the Premier League. However, next season we will be back, trying to get back to where we truly belong, with speculation over Ahmad returning, Joe Bellingham's soon arrival, and links to promising talents like Luis Semedo and Nectar Triantis. We will be back. Player of the season.
Ahmad. Danny Barr. Jack Clarke.
Player of the season. For me, it's got to be Jack Clarke.
Luke O'Neill and Jack Clarke.
I will probably give it to Danny Barr. Danny Barr, for me, he looked like a player who was sort of on the fringes before the season started. Last season, Bailey Wright was chosen in favour of Barr. Barr wasn't really starting too many games, so I didn't really see where he would fit. And then he started the season, and he's become arguably one of the best centre-backs in the league this season.
Our player of the season, personally, I think has been Amad Diallo. He's been really good.
Player of the season, I'm going for Danny Barr.
Player of the season for me has got to be Anthony Patterson, without a doubt. Much improved this season. Established himself as Sunderland's #1 goalie and attracting other clubs as well.
Signing of the season.
Sunderland's signing of the season. Who do you reckon, Paul?
Ahmad, it's got to be on it. He started off the season very slow. It took a while for him to get into the team, but now he's just been outstanding. He's got a massive career ahead of him and he's going to be a Premier League player in the future. I have no doubt about that.
Just love it to be in a red and white shirt with a Sunderland badge on. For me, signing of the season, Ahmad's the obvious choice. Obviously, he's been phenomenal this season, but I'm going to go for Jack Clarke.
Good
now,
job.
yes, we might have had him on loan last season, but we didn't actually sign him until January, so I found a loophole there. So Jack Clarke, I think he's been phenomenal. He's been involved in 20 goal goals for Sunderland this season with 10 goals and 10 assists, and that's phenomenal. We know he's got a bright future, we know he's highly thought of, and he's basically, I think he's been brilliant all season. So yeah, Jack Clark's my signing of the season.
Ahmad. You go first. Ahmad Diallo.
Clark. I want to see Diallo on loan, but I'll still say Jack Clark. Like, he's been worth every penny. It was great for him. Like,
Ahmad, easy.
Signing of the season, I'd probably go Ellis Sims, even though he was called back by Everton on the 1st of January. Still a bit sour by that.
I think it's Bollard. I think Bollard has been absolutely outstanding. He had a little bit of an injury niggle, which, if it wasn't for that, he may have got player of the season himself. He's been that good.
Signing of the season's an interesting one because there's a few players that could fit into this category. The two that stand out to me are Ahmad Diallo and Jack Clark, because we remember Jack Clark was a permanent signing this season, whereas last season he was on loan. So if I had to pick either of the two of them, probably Ahmad. Jack Clark's been immense, but Ahmad's just been a different level in terms of quality at times, and we are going to miss him next season, unfortunately.
Ahmad Diallo, he's only on loan, but we got him from Manchester United, and what an exciting prospect he is going to be for the future. He's been absolutely superb for Sunderland. His form's dipped off a little just lately, but there's no doubting that the young lad has got quality.
Most improved.
I'm going to give it to Trey Hume. We paid £250,000 from him from Linfield, and I think he's been an absolute steal of the century. He linked up play with Roberts and Ahmad.
I would say Patrick Roberts. Obviously, I watched him play in Scotland a lot with me being a Rangers fan through my dad. And as much as he won trophies and played decently with Celtic, I've seen an unreal improvement from this season than what I saw last season, especially with his play with Ahmad.
Roberts. Good. No, 09. Done Neil.
Trey Hume. From Sam last year, I think he played 3 games, and then this year it's been like a new player because he's came in, he's hit the ground running this year, and he's been class. You can't drop him.
Quite a few I could go for with this, but for me, most improved and probably the most underrated as well is Trey Hume. Trey Hume was another player who didn't really see where he was going to fit. Gooch was playing at right back, and of course Gooch got injured for a large portion of the season, and Trey Hume's come in and he's done arguably an even better job than Lyndon Gooch, and he's one of the first names on the team sheet.
Most improved player this season, I'm going to give that to, I think, Trey Hume. Again, we said about how Anthony Patterson's come on really well, but Trey Hume, I think, had a little bit of a sticky start with us at Sunderland, but he's found his feet, he's settled in nicely, and is a much improved player and great solid defender.
Goal of the season.
Goal of the season's pretty obvious, I think. The third goal at Reading, it's just absolutely sublime. That's going to be the cliched answer, the exact same as everybody's, but for me that should have been in contention for EFL goal of the season, and it's absolute daylight robbery that it isn't.
I like the one Jack Clark and Reading.
It's took mine as well. I was going to say Jack Clark and Ahmad. The one that is just like the recent one.
Oh, I hate
it. Where was this? Yeah.
Probably either Clark against Reading or Pat Robertson here on Screamer.
The goal of the season has to be the third goal against Reading. I think it was Reading. The Jack Clark goal, the team goal, is just really good.
Ahmad's against Wigan. Ahmad's goal against Wigan.
At Reading away, it was an amazing team move. I think it was 8 passes from the goalkeeper to that led to the goal. Lovely exchange in play between the likes of Daniel, Pritchard, Roberts as well. We come to Daniel on the right hand side in the end, and he just passed it along the deck to Clark, who cuts inside and puts it in the back of the net. Absolutely fantastic.
Goal of the season. Well, it's easy really. The goal of the season. It's not going to be topped anyway. I know we're not quite at the end of the season just yet, but definitely Jack Clark's goal versus Reading away. Superb team performance out from the back. Just a fantastic goal, well worked, and a great finish by Jack Clark at the end of it. Probably going to get goal of the season anyway. So it's my goal of the season, and it's going to probably be the championship goal of the season, I would imagine.
I would have to say the Clark's goal against Reading. There's been so many good goals we've scored this season, team goals or individual goals, but Clark's against Reading, I would have to say that because it was a team goal. I honestly don't know how that was nominated for a goal of the season in the EFL.
Game of the season.
Middlesbrough.
Oh, who did we play on Good Friday? It was Hull.
Hull.
Yeah, 4-4. I was unreal. That.
Yeah.
And game of the season? Game of the season in a lot of ways, not for me personally from a defensive point of view, but for the game of the season it's got to be Hull, I suppose. 8-goal thriller, twists and turns when you go 1-0 down, 2-1 up, 3-2 down, 4-3 up, and then it ends a draw. Yeah, it was just full of everything, I suppose, that a lot of fans want in a game.
Oh, Wigan away, 4-1.
3-0 against Reading. Wigan.
Game of the season. A couple of good games this season. Right at the start, when we was away to Bristol City, we got a 3-2 win. That was a good win for the lads. Good start to the season. But I think the most enjoyable was probably the 3-0 win away at Reading. That was a great all-round performance and a good solid result for Sunderland. So my game of the season has got to be the 3-0 win away to Reading.
Game of the season.
There's quite a few. Reading springs to mind, Stephen, where we scored that absolute Premier League-esque goal and Jack Clark put it away against Reading. But for me, it's got to be the 4-4 recently against Hull. How exciting that game was. It was just end to end. We come from behind twice, was it? It was just an absolute class game of football to watch. I wasn't even angry at the end. I was just shocked. Like, it was so entertaining. What about you?
Well, my game of the season is actually a game that we won. Paul wasn't there, but I was. It was Wigan away.
Oh, aye.
We went down there. 5,000 Sunderland fans went down. We dominated from start to finish. Some of the football we played was like watching Brazil, in peak Brazil. And yeah, we smashed them 4-1. Wigan couldn't handle us. The atmosphere was amazing and the performance matched. So I'm Wigan away.
Would be Wigan, the away from home. Just after Christmas time, we won 4-1, which I was at. Loved it. Fantastic game. Again, it was one of those where we got pegged back and then we just come out and flying and absolutely destroyed them in the end.
Worst moment of the season?
Losing to Stoke. I was at that game against Fulham, and Mitrovic celebrated like near us, and it was very. It felt like he was looking directly at us.
Stupid Mag. Stuart's double injury,
Worst moment of the season was the Stoke game. We got beat by Alex Neil's Stoke. Of course, Alex Neil left us at the beginning of the season to go to Stoke, and we got battered at the Stadium of Light. So being at home and then to concede 5 goals at home as well is absolutely awful, unforgivable almost.
Stoke. 5-1 against Stoke.
5-1 against Stoke.
This could take a while. Worst moment of the season.
5-1 against Stoke. Alex Neil's return to the Stadium of Light. There you go. Simple as you like.
I can understand exactly why he said that, because it was horrendous losing to Stoke like that, especially with Dwight Gale scoring and Alex Neil returning. Right. But my worst moment of the season, which I think could have defined our season as well, was, I can't remember what game it was, but it was Ross Stewart.
I knew you were going to say
Ross Stewart going down injured.
Worst moment of the season. I mean, it was sad to see Ross Stewart getting injured. And then he comes back to fitness and then he gets injured again and out for the season. So that wasn't good. Losing at home to Stoke City 5-1 was a pretty low point. Alex Neil coming back and having the last laugh. So worst moment, I don't know, it's a toss-up between them. I think probably Ross Stewart being injured and being out for most of the season has, put us where we are. I think we'd have been definitely in the playoffs had he played all season.
Football is not just a game. Football is what you work the week for, the happiness at the end of the week, win or lose. Football creates memories for life. Taking people who hate football to the matches.
It's cold. I thought it was inside.
The half-time pies and pints. Going to the game with your family or friends.
Because it tastes like chocolate.
The away days. Fans make football. Football makes fans. This is We Aside. We, Sunderland FC.
See that crack there beneath your feet, with a long road too deep. Where to ride on the tip of my tongue. I wouldn't wish that on anyone. If you try and reinvent yourself, with the only goal of utmost wealth, just remember your name, cause the games that you play makes you turn into someone else.